Hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry it's been a while. Life and work took a very complicated turn and it's been pretty full on, so I've been busy doing that for the last month or so, and haven't had much time at all to do SEA stuff. I did last weekend get some time to do some painting, but I didn't video it. I just needed some downtime to relax and do some fun stuff. So this week I'm going to bring you along for the rest of the painting. What I did last week was another coat of white and the two brown colours. I got that done on most of the pole. What I've got set up now is this paler cream colour, for which I've mixed up a slightly different colour, but it'll work. It's a little bit lighter. And it's a mix of the white and this brown colour to get that. And it's, as covered in the previous video, it's just the oil and terps mixed with some pigment and gypsum powder. And so today I will take you along. It'll probably just be a time lapse or a sped up video of me painting. I'll try and get this cream colour done, and then we'll see how far I get to go. I've got to do another coat on the green and the red down the bottom, and then the black background will be the last thing. So, yeah. And I've just been mixing them up in these, because I'm just doing little bits. I've got these little fruit cups from my daughter that would otherwise just get thrown out, and they're great for mixing up paint. And I've got literally hundreds of them, so we can just mix them up and throw them out afterwards. Cool. So I've been working my way around the eagle. And as you can see, I'm going over the first coat with my second coat, and obviously where I'm up against a paint that I've already done what should hopefully be the final coat on, I've got to be a lot more careful with my overbrush. But on these black areas and green areas, because I haven't done the final coat on that area, I can be a bit more liberal with how I'm applying the paint. And it's always good to get that junction over painted just a tiny bit, so you don't end up with a little gap of timber or a different colour showing between it. So I can go a bit quicker through here because I'm going to overpaint the black, but over here you can see I've overpainted with the dark brown, so I've got to be very careful with how I go through here. Then there's also, I'm not 100% sold on all these colours yet, so I'm still trying to figure out what looks the best. So what I had painted this brown, but it was too much light brown in here, so I'm going to paint over this inside wing with this lighter colour and see how that looks. So I've come to a decision on what I'm going to paint everything to start with, and we'll take it to a few events and see how it looks and get other people's opinions, and if I need to I can always repaint over with a different colour. But so we're going to start with this, see how it goes. But these paints go over the top of other colours very well. Once the first coat's on, the first coat kind of sucks into the timber. It is sometimes a little bit see-through, but applying a second coat over the top doesn't really matter what colour it is, it kind of goes on pretty consistent. So my joints aren't the best, but I'm trying to use a big brush for the majority of the areas, and then a small brush for the finer detail. But obviously the carving's not perfect, and the paint is a little rough, and it's got the coarse particles in there, so that's, anyway, can be a little bit of a struggle to get a neat finish on it, but I think it's looking pretty good. I'm very happy with how it's turning out. And having those couple of coarse particles in there isn't necessarily a bad thing, because some of these smaller cracks, or some of these holes from the carving, do actually get filled up with the grit of the pigment. It makes it look a little smoother. Hides some of the sins of the poor carving. You can see here where I've been a bit careless with the big brush and it's splattered all the background, so I had hoped that was already finished, but it'll look better with another coat anyway, and I'll have to clean up all this mess. So I've been trying to take my time a bit more with these more recent coats. To avoid those splatters. It can get hard, even this stuff here that I did last weekend, some of this is still a bit wet, so you can't rest your hand down just anyway, so I can still use the green and black, but anything else is a no-go zone for touching, otherwise it will smear everywhere. So when I come to do this edge here, I've got nothing to put my hand on. Back in the day when I was doing my miniature painting, I used to have a rock solid hand, but now it's not too bad. My fingers all shaky. It does make it a little harder. A little more frustrating. does help to be able to paint with both hands too. Oh no, just did a dot. There you go. Now I'm going to have to fix that up. Not sure if it'll come up on the camera or not. There is some bumps just in here where the carving went against the grain. It's a good example of how the paint with the grit actually helps by filling in some of these gaps, makes it a bit smoother. You can also adjust the ratio of oil that you put into the paint so it flows a bit smoother. So if you put more in, it'll run more like silk painting and flow out, in which case it would bleed through to the next one. Or you can make it thicker, and then it will fill in the gaps more, and it won't flow as much. So if you do have a good sharp line with the grain of the timber not going through it, you can make it a little runnier and have the oil do the work and let it flow the paint for you. So I haven't quite finished all the green, just got this lower part to go, but the day's getting late, I'm running out of time, and this red is still wet, so I don't want to try and go too close to it and accidentally mix the colours. But most of this area the top area is complete. I have a few little spots up on the browns that I need to redo, otherwise it's just the black background. So it's coming along nicely. Maybe one more weekend and we'll have it complete. So that's it for now. Catch you next weekend.